Hello friends, welcome back to my channel MJS Knowledge Hub. I hope you're doing well and preparing in a speed manner for your exams. And we are in ISCA CA final paper number 6 old syllabus revision, and we are doing chapter number 1. And this is the third part of this chapter where we are going to see about risk management, its related concepts, and then COBIT 5 and its related concepts will be covering today. So if you have not seen the previous videos, the link has been given in the description box. I request you to kindly check that part also, and you can get this PDF which is being shown on your screen from the link given in the description box for a very nominal fee. And this PDF is for chapter 1, which is covering the entire chapter 1 in just 15 pages, 1 5. So it will be helpful in your last day revision. So I request you to kindly have a look of this PDF and try it once. It may be useful for your exam preparations. Okay, so without much delay, let's get started. What is meant by risk? Risk is a possibility of something, some negative aspect is going to happen or adverse thing is going to happen. So that is meant by risk is a possibility of having something negative to happen, and the risk management is a process of assessing that risk, taking steps to reduce the risk to an acceptable level and maintain the level of risk. Mostly all type of risk cannot be eliminated. Therefore, we need a risk management policy in place so that they can assess the risk, take the steps to reduce the risk to an acceptable level and maintain the risk. So risk management involves the following, like identifying, measuring and minimizing uncertain events affecting the resources. So what happens in the IT system is that the risk may be with the vulnerability of an asset, and there may be a cyber attack or there can be a virus attack. So these are all of the some things which can affect the system very drastically, and it makes it mandatory for the organization to keep a risk management committee, so that every time every risk is being analyzed and it has suitable measures has been taken for reduction. In the related terms, you can read and self understand these terms about asset, vulnerability, threat, exposure, likelihood, attack, and risk. These are the few important terms which you can just by giving a reading you can understand. Then, what does this risk assessment include? The risk assessment includes, first thing, we need to identify threat and vulnerability in system, because wherever there is a vulnerability or weakness, there only the chances of adverse event happening will be high. Therefore, identify the threat and vulnerability of system and see the potential impact, and try to understand the potential impact or magnitude of harm that can this threat that this risk can cause, and the harm which will happen, which may lead to a loss, which may happen due to the loss of confidentiality, integrity and availability. Then identification and analysis of security controls for the information system. So risk assessment includes identification of threat and vulnerability of the system, potential impact or harm that can happen on the loss of confidentiality, integrity and availability, and the identification and analysis of security controls for the information system. So we need to understand the threat, we need to understand the security measures also. Then what are the risk management strategies? Risk management strategies broadly are 5 types. First, tolerate or accept the risk, terminate or eliminate the risk, transfer or share the risk, treat or mitigate the risk, and turn back. Tolerate or accept the risk is that this risk is a very small in quantity and organization can accept and such risk, because it may be the part of the business itself. Like with example, if you take a credit card thing, in the credit card business there is a chance of defaults, right? So that is the inherent risk. Therefore, the company to some extent will accept it. Then comes terminate or eliminate the risk. This can be that by this means that by doing some activity, a risk is emerging. So by not doing that activity, the risk may not emerge. Therefore, try to terminate or eliminate the risk. Then transfer or share the risk. The risk can be shared among the vendors and suppliers, and also, for example, you can give the management of IT to a third party who will take care of the information technology management in the organization by employing very good quality personnel, which with that much of efficiency can't be taken by the main organization. Therefore, it outsource it. Therefore, you can transfer or share the risk to a third party, and even you can take the insurance for these matters. Then treat or mitigate the risk. If it's possible to apply certain controls and try to mitigate the impact of the risk, it can be done. Therefore, treat or mitigate this one of the risk strategy. Then turn back. Turn back means the organization may ignore the risk because the risk will have very less chance of occurrence, or if occur also will not have greater impact upon the organization. Therefore, risk management strategy are of 5 types. They are tolerate or accept the risk, terminate or eliminate the risk, transfer or share the risk, treat or mitigate the risk, and turn back. Okay, then what are the key governance practices of risk management to understand if the risk management is on track or not. What we need to do, the key governance practices which we need to evaluate for the risk management are: evaluate the risk management means try to understand what are the risk factors, how to manage it, and those things. And direct the risk management, form a committee, manage or committee from set of from the managing people, and try to address the risk to search what are the different kinds of methods are available to reduce the risk. And then monitor risk assessment, you need to continuously keep a view on how the risk management is being conducted, are the new risks been identified, are proper sufficient safeguards been taken or not, and report the same to the management. Therefore, key governance practices of risk management are: first thing First thing is evaluate the risk management, direct the risk management, and monitor the risk management. Now, what are the key management practices of risk management? First thing is a governance principle. Second is a management practice. What the management will do in order to get the risk management under control. I mean, in their control. First thing, collect the data, analyze the risk, maintain risk profile, articulate the risk, define a risk management action portfolio, and respond to risk. First, collect the data. Collect all the data which consists of the different vulnerabilities or different area where where the security is less and there are chances of chance of threat coming, and it may be a risky part for not taking proper measures to cover that area. Then analyze the risk. Once you get understanding of where is the risk emerging from and what is type of risk you're going to face, you need to analyze it to know what damage does it do or how to mitigate it. Then maintain risk profile. In the organization, maintain profile that these are different kinds of risks faced by the organization, and maintain a profile or note of it. Then articulate the risk. Circulate this risk is available. Circulate the type of risk faced by the entity to all the key stakeholders, and then define the risk management action portfolio. Then design a the management must sit and take the steps in order to mitigate the risk and define the risk management action portfolio. That means if even uncertainty even happens, even after taking proper care, what are the steps to be taken to mitigate that. Then respond to risk. If any risk is newly emerging, the management along with this committee and team must be able to respond it so as to reduce its impact. Therefore, key management practices of risk management are: collect the data, analyze the risk, maintain risk profile, articulate the risk, define the risk management action portfolio, and respond to the risk. So this is regarding key management practices of risk management. Key governance practices are: evaluate the risk management, direct the risk management, and monitor the risk management. But key management practices are: collect the data, analyze the risk, maintain risk profile, articulate the risk, define a risk management action portfolio, and respond to risk. Then matrices of risk management. How do you evaluate the risk management is correctly being implemented in the organization, or up to what percentage is the risk management being implemented in the organization? How do you do that? They are totally you can do four variety of ways. First is percentage of critical business process, IT services, and IT enabled business program covered by risk assessment. Try to see what are the risk assessment action portfolio or the risk assessment plan, how much percentage of the critical business is trying to protect, and what are the different services and IT enabled program that this risk management is trying to cover. Then number of significant IT related incidents that were not identified, risk management. Suppose in case the organization has gone through certain IT related incident and that is not been guessed or identified in the risk assessment, what are this? Make a list of it. Then percentage of enterprise risk assessment including IT related risk. Then see what are the different types of risk assessment incurred in the enterprise, including are risk assessment even covering IT or not, and frequency of updating risk profile based upon status of assessment of risk. Every time when you take a risk assessment, you're finding a new risk, update the risk profile so that the other stakeholders can get good idea of what kind of risks the organization is facing. Therefore, matrices of risk management are: percentage of critical business process, IT services, and IT enabled business program covered by the risk assessment, number of significant IT related incidents that were not identified in the risk assessment, percentage of enterprise risk assessment including IT related risk, and frequency of updating risk profile based upon the status of assessment of the risk. Okay, so this is a small part risk management. Now we'll be entering into COBIT 5, and let us see what are the components of COBIT 5, what are the principles of COBIT 5, and what are the enablers of COBIT 5, and a brief understanding of COBIT 5 process reference model. So let us now jump into COBIT 5. So friends, now let us see about COBIT 5. What is COBIT 5? COBIT 5 is the only business framework that will be helping in the governance and management of enterprise IT. What is the full form of COBIT? It is Control Objective for Information and Related Technology. Control Objective for Information and Related Technology is the full form of COBIT 5. COBIT. Okay. Now currently we are using the fifth version of COBIT 5, which will provide an end-to-end business solution for the management, for the governance and management of the enterprise IT. Now see, the entire organization with the information technology is available, right? So how you will govern it, what steps you need to take care, and how to manage that information technology in the enterprise is given by COBIT. And COBIT 5 is the latest version of it, which will be providing assistance for the governance and management of enterprise IT. Now, who has developed it? It has been developed by the institute. Okay, yeah, Information System Audit and Control Association, ISACA. So Information System Audit and Control Association and IT Governance Institute. So two institutes have come together for preparing this COBIT, and it has been developed in the year 1996. Now currently we are using COBIT 5. COBIT 5 is the aim to provide an end-to-end business view of the governance of enterprise IT. So and it will reflect the role of IT in the creating value for the business. So this is a small introduction about the COBIT 5. Then will come why do we need COBIT 5? Because COBIT 5 is globally accepted principle for the managing of the IT. Because COBIT 5 is globally accepted principle, rules and analysis and tools for the managing and governance of enterprise IT. It can be adjusted and customized to any type of organization. Therefore, COBIT can be used for all type and all variety of organization for managing their IT. Fine. Okay. Then we need to see that. What does this COBIT 5 going to help? First thing, it's going to help in managing and governing the enterprise IT. Apart from that, what's going to do? It will help in increasing the value of the increase the value creation for the user from the use of IT, increase user satisfaction, reduce the IT related risk and help in proper compliance of laws and regulation, development of more business focused IT solution and services, and increases the enterprise wide involvement in the IT activities. So these are what the COBIT 5 is going to do. Now let us see what are the components of COBIT 5. See, before going into components of COBIT 5, few things we need to remember. What we need to remember here is that COBIT 5 will provide a basis to integrate effectively with other frameworks. See, COBIT 5 is a framework is a management guidelines for the managing and developing the information technology within the enterprise. So it will be even getting aligned. It will even get aligned with other frameworks like information technology infrastructure library, or you can say even with the total group architecture framework, or with the framework of ISO 27001. These all frameworks help in managing the IT, right? So COBIT 5 automatically tries to integrate with these with these type of structures, and the framework is required to be in this type of integration is required with so that the all other practices of IT in other departments can be aligned with the COBIT 5. So this alignment will help in the this alignment will be helping the work to be done in harmony between enterprise policy strategies, enterprise risk management, and enterprise governance framework. So COBIT 5 is integrating with other frameworks will help in smooth functioning of the enterprise, and COBIT 5 will do that because it is been designed to get adjusted with the various type of frameworks and various type of organizations, irrespective of whether it's profit or not profit. Then what are the components of COBIT 5? COBIT 5 components totally 5. First is framework, process description, control objective, management guidelines, and maturity models. So it is a framework, framework, process description, control objective, management guidelines, and maturity models. Let us see them a bit in a brief manner. What does this framework mean? Framework means here the IT governance objective and good practices by the IT domains are here integrated, and they are applied to the entire business requirement. And then process description means here a reference process model is generated and a common language is created which is useful among all the users of the IT in the organization. Then control objective, it provides a high level requirement to be considered by the management for effective control of IT. Then management guideline, so it will help to assign the responsibility, agree on the objectives and measure the performance on the and have and to understand the interrelationship between the other process. So management guidelines, what it will do, it will help to assign the responsibility, agree on the objectives, and helps to and will illustrate the interrelationship between the other process. Then what are the maturity models? It means it will access the maturity and capacity of each process and helps in addressing the gaps. So COBIT 5, since it is an overarching framework for management of enterprise IT, it will have proper framework to be so that it can be aligned with other thing. Then process description, it will give the process model and common language for use. And control objective, it will provide high level requirement to be considered for managing the IT, because control objective is for managing the IT. For managing anything, we need objectives, and this control objective will show what all level of requirements are to be placed so that we can manage the IT. Then management guidelines help to assign the responsibility, agree on the objective, and measure the performance among all the frameworks. Then maturity models assess the maturity and capability per process and helps to address the gaps if any. So these are the components of COBIT 5. Then let us see what are the benefits of COBIT 5. So what are the benefits of COBIT 5? First thing is that we need to understand the COBIT 5 is an framework which is for managing and governing the enterprise IT. So it will, first thing, objective is to govern and manage the enterprise IT. Second thing, create optimum value from the IT. Means if we are using information technology, try to obtain more value from that IT by maintaining how a balance between realized benefit and optimizing risk level. So once you identify the risk and ID is applied to reduce the risk and realize the benefit, try to get more benefit from it. Then enables ID to be governed and managed in a holistic manner. So you will have the process and framework for the governance and management of enterprise IT, and each solution, each problem can be dealt along as per the guidelines present in the framework. Then helps the enterprise to manage IT related risk and ensure compliance, security, and privacy. Enables clear policy document and good practice for IT management. The COBIT 5 is always complete question of COBIT 5 will be on the management and governance of enterprise IT. Therefore, benefits will also be the same. First thing is to enable the enterprise to achieve the objective. Then create optimum value from IT by maintaining a balance between realized benefits and the optimizing risk and resource use. Then enable IT to be governed and managed in a holistic manner. Helps enterprise to manage IT related risk and ensure compliance, continuity, security, and privacy. Enables clear policy development and good practice for IT management, including increased business user satisfaction. Useful for enterprise of all type and all size. Supports compliance with relevant laws, regulations, and contractual arrangements. So these are the benefits of COBIT 5. Then let us see what are the what are the 5 principles of COBIT 5. So COBIT 5 is based upon these 5 principles. So how can we understand what should we do to understand these 5 principles of COBIT 5? The 5 principles are meeting stakeholder needs, covering enterprise end to end, applying a single integrated framework, enabling a holistic approach, and separating governance from management. You can see it is like a MACAES, MCAES, MACAES. You can try to remember like that, or I think there's no need for acronym here. You can just easily remember it. Meeting stakeholder needs, covering enterprise end to end, applying a single integrated framework, enabling holistic approach, and separating governance from management. Let us see them in a brief manner. What is meeting stakeholder needs? See, COBIT 5 is for governing and management of enterprise IT. That's fine, we know. But it must be available to create value for the stakeholders. By how to create value? By maintaining a balance between the realization of the benefits and also the optimizing the risk and the resource use. So by maintaining striking a balance between the resources what we are using and risk what we are taking and benefits what we are getting, it will help to provide the stakeholder. It will help to provide the it will be able to meet the stakeholders' needs. Then covering enterprise end to end. This COBIT 5 model not only helps in managing the IT, but it will be covering all the concepts. It will treat the information as an asset, and it will treat the information like how it treats the other assets. Therefore, it will be applicable to the entire organization from starting to the end. Then applying a single integrated framework. Here, what happens? IT related standards and practices there are many standards and practices which will be applicable for the IT. So COBIT 5 is a single integrated framework where it will take the input from other frameworks also, and it will have an overarching governance and management framework for the use of IT in the organization. Then it will enabling holistic approach. Effective and efficient governance management of IT is the aim of COBIT 5, right? So it will take into account all the interacting components, and it will define a set of enablers which will be helpful which will be helping them them to take we will be providing them support for implementation of governance of IT in the organization. Then separating owner governance from management. So COBIT 5 framework makes a clear distinction between the governance and management because the two are different issues and two have different activities to be taken care of. So what are the 5 principles of COBIT 5? Meeting stakeholder needs, covering enterprise end-to-end, applying a single integrated framework, enabling a holistic approach, and separating governance from the management. Now let us see COBIT 5 process reference model. What is meant by process reference model? It is a model in which it describes and defines in detail several governance and management process for the enterprise IT It has been divided into two categories. First thing for the governance, second is management. I am sorry, I think in the typo I have missed the word management here. So please write it down. It is the classification of the process reference model is into two, that is governance and management. It represents all of the process normally for an enterprise IT and provide a common reference model which is understandable by the IT and the business manager, because now COBIT 5 has to align with the business thing, and therefore an understanding between the operational IT people and the business manager is required, and therefore this models of governance and management helps in building that understanding. So what are the different type of models we have? First thing, in the governance there is 5 processes totally, that is evaluate, direct and monitor. So there are 5 varieties of process, and again the management process there are 4 varieties. First thing is APO, align, plan and organize. It has total 13 process. Then build, acquire and implement, it has 10 process. Then deliver, service and support has 6 process, and monitor, evaluate and assess, it has 3 process. What are the process? They are the ways in which the governance is being conducted, and how, and also we are trying to this will help us understand how the IT and the normal business operations are being aligned. So these models helps in the organization can choose any one of these models and these processes, so that in that manner they can align the IT and satisfy their IT needs. Okay, now let's come to the one of the important topics of COBIT 5, that is enablers of COBIT 5. There are totally 7 enablers of COBIT 5. They are principles, policy and framework, process, organization structure, cultural ethics and behavior, information, service infrastructure and application, and people skill and competency. You can take the acronym ISCP POP. IS information and services infrastructure and application, CP or culture ethics and behavior, people skill and competency is CP POP. So again you can take principle, policy and framework, organization structure and process, or you can simply remember the 7: principle, policy and framework, process, organization structure, culture ethics and behavior, information, service infrastructure and applications, and people skill and competency. So these are the 7 enablers of COBIT 5. So principle, policy and framework are the vehicles, because you can say are the ways in which will translate the desired behavior into practical guidelines. What is a process? Process is described as a set of practices or activities that is done to achieve the goals of the organization, including IT related goals. Then organization structure is the one which will be deciding the key decision making framework. Then cultural ethics and behavior, it is the individual of the enterprise, the way in which they behave. It is taken as one of the most important success factor for any business and development. Then what is information? Information, we know it is processed data and it is available across the organization. Therefore the information includes all forms of information which is used by the enterprise for making decision and governing the enterprise IT. Then comes service infrastructure and application. This includes infrastructure, technology and other applications that is used to provide the enterprise, that provides the enterprise you can say that provides the enterprise information technology processing and service activities. Then people skill and competence, this includes the people which are required to manage the IT and also the operation, and also includes the people having required skills so that they can take correct decision on time. So these are 7 enablers of COBIT 5. Let us once revise: principle, policy and framework, process, organization structure, culture ethics and behavior, information, service infrastructure and applications, people skill and competencies. And the last part of today's video is risk management in COBIT 5. So see, every enterprise will be facing certain risk, and these models and process helps in reducing that effect of that risk. So what are the steps taken so that in the COBIT 5 so the risk can be reduced are: first thing, we have seen that in the process reference model there are 2 varieties, in governance process and management process. So in the governance process there is evaluate, direct and monitor. Evaluate, direct and monitor, totally it has 5 process. So one of the process is EDM AP103. It will be focusing on ensure risk optimization. Then similar, it will help in understanding. It will help to understand that help the enterprise to understand risk appetite, and also it will try to see what is till what level the risk can be tolerated and understood. Then second is the management process, in which there is one called align, plan and organize. It is total 13 process, of which one APO0 to APO12 is for managing the risk. So a combination of this EDM3 and APO12 will help to ensure the management that all risks are covered, and it will help the management be assured the risk management can be done effectively for both for the organization. Then how is the risk management is being done? Risk management is done in this way. First thing, they'll do risk assessment, and then they will take the risk mitigation controls. When they take the risk assessment, they'll try to identify the risk, analyze the risk and prioritize the risk. And then when they try to take the mitigation controls, they'll focus on risk reduction, risk planning and risk monitoring. Therefore, the combination of governance and management process helps in understanding the risk appetite of the organization. Also try to see what are the precautionary steps taken by the enterprise so that it can reduce the risk to a maximum level. Then risk management is done in three ways. Two ways: risk assessment and risk mitigation controls. In assessment, they'll identify, analyze and prioritize the risk, and then use the mitigation controls to reduce the risk, or they take the risk planning approach, and they continuously monitor the risk. So this is about the risk management COBIT 5. So in the next upcoming video, we will see the COBIT 5 best practices for GRC, means governance require we'll be seeing the governance risk compliance program by using of the COBIT 5, and then we'll be proceeding to understanding the compliance requirement of COBIT 5, and again we'll try to even evaluate the IT governance structure and practices by internal auditor, and also the last area we'll be seeing sample areas of GRC for review by the internal auditor. So completing these 4 topics in next video, chapter 1 will be completed. So guys, I hope you're finding it good for this revision videos. Please motivate me with a thumbs up, which will give me a lot of confidence. And also please study the practice manual along with this PDF so that you can present well in the examination. So till then, take care and keep on studying.